I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, we heard you, Melissa, and so I'm just waiting for us to get all three of us here, and we'll light
Okay,
this candle.
and I hear you too.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, good morning. This is Pat O'Connell. Calling to order a public comment hearing for the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission. We're here to receive comments in docket number 2400157 UT, which is a rulemaking related to energy saving targets and incentives for electric utilities pursuant to Efficient Use of Energy Act. So this NOPR was issued earlier this year. We have a deadline by the end of June to publish the rule. This hearing today is one of 3 comment opportunities that were defined in the NOPR. The first one was on May 22nd. Anybody was invited to provide comments in writing, and we do have several parties who have provided comments in writing, and thank you for that. We have today, which is opportunity to provide comments verbally, and we have with us a court reporter. So when I open it up for public comment, just court reporter decorum means please start by saying who you are and if you're representing any party or yourself, and then just please speak slowly. And I found just by experience that especially applies if you're reading something. You tend to talk faster if you read. So if you're reading something, please just talk at a speed that helps the court reporter do her job. And then there will be a final round of comments on May 30th of this month, so in 8 days. And then again, it will be on a regular open meeting for final decision before the end of June of this year. So with that, commissioners, did you have any comments you wanted to make before we? I mean, no. Okay, well, let's get to it then. Is there anybody here who'd like to provide public comment? I mean, we have a decent assembly in the room, but it's generally parties who have submitted comments in writing. So, all right, not seeing any, I will turn it over to Mr. Rodriguez, if you could coordinate the folks who have asked to provide comment online.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we do have one person online who registered for comment, and they are on Zoom at the moment. Justin, go ahead.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you too. So
Great. So my name is Justin Brandt. I'm the Utility Program Director at the Southwest Energy Efficiency Project, or SWEEP. Here today representing SWEEP and the Coalition for Clean and Affordable Energy. I guess similar to probably the parties in the room, we've also been very active in this case, participating in the working group. And we plan to follow up with written reply comments in more detail. Really appreciate the work of the commission in developing this NOPR and incorporating many of the recommendations in the working group within its proposed rules. In general, we're very supportive of the proposed rules put out by the commission, though there are a few issues I would like to highlight for the commission in my public comments. The first one is the issue of the performance incentive. Performance incentives, according to work by the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, are one of the key policies to support utilities achieving higher energy savings by allowing a utility to share in some of the value achieved through its energy efficiency programs with its customers, so that customers receive the vast majority of the value, but the utility receives some of it in exchange for higher achievement. In general, the performance incentive construct in New Mexico has been in place since before the modifications to the Efficient Use of Energy Act in 2019, with the utility earning a performance incentive up to its weighted average cost of capital multiplied by its spending, with the utility earning an increasing percentage of its spending with better performance. We think this method has generally worked well up until this point, but with increased energy savings goals as a result of the 2019 EUEA modifications and changes in the electric sector, I think it's time to update this approach. I think the first and most important update is to allow the company to earn a performance incentive based on its net benefits rather than just spending. We appreciate the commission including this option within its goals as within its rules. As the electric sector changes, there's large differences in the value of energy savings at different times of day and year, with a large value, for example, in the evening on a hot summer day, and lower value at other times of the year, like probably a day like today where it's not too hot, in the shoulder seasons and the wind might be blowing. By moving to net benefits, you're incentivizing a utility to go after these higher value energy savings rather than just get any old kilowatt hour, no matter the timing. I guess the other issue is sort of what the maximum utility can earn is and when it starts to earn its performance incentive. I believe the statute says satisfactory performance is important to maintain. We think the rules put forward by the commission might be a little too stringent there. So for example, we've advocated for in a lot of New Mexico proceedings, as well as in Colorado, is about 80% of a goal we think is satisfactory to start earning a performance incentive, but then have a design that incentivizes the utility to then meet or achieve its goal by allowing it to earn a greater performance incentive with better performance. As for the cap, again, we believe that the weighted average cost of capital may not provide a large enough incentive to the utility. By increasing the cap as recommended by the working group to a maximum of 15% of program costs, we just believe that would allow the commission and stakeholders and utilities more flexibility. Having this as the maximum in no way obligates the commission to improve an incentive up to this a full amount. Instead, it gives the company and stakeholders more flexibility to design an appropriate incentive that the commission can review in the context of a fully litigated case. For some utilities, it may be appropriate to maintain the current structure, but we believe it's reasonable to allow a utility to propose a higher incentive if it could reach that with exemplary performance. I guess just briefly, I also want to touch upon the issue of the timing of annual reports from utilities. The commission's rules changes this pretty dramatically. Currently, all utilities file their annual reports with the commission on May 15th of the year following that year. So we just received the 2024 annual reports from the 3 utilities. As a user of these annual reports, we really like having the sort of filing at the same time so we can compare performance across the utilities and also sort of close the book on the previous year as soon as possible. Given that we're generally delivering programs on a calendar year basis, and I don't believe the commission's rules change that, and meeting goals on a calendar basis, I think it's appropriate to continue to report on a calendar year basis. And ideally, those reports are coming in as early as possible in the next year so that we can all see how we did and then take those learnings and move on. So I think we're supportive of maintaining a similar structure as now, where utilities are all reporting annual reports on a similar basis. And then finally, we're supportive of inclusion of the emissions benefit within the utility cost test as advocated for by El Paso Electric, Public Service of New Mexico, and Western Resource Advocates in their initial comments. So thanks for the opportunity to provide comment. And as I said, we'll be following up with written comments and happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Just keeping true to form on these public comment hearings, we just receive the comments and don't tend to ask questions to the public comment hearing. So, Mr. Rodriguez, was there anybody else online?
Mr. Chair, that's it for all comments.
Okay. And then we've been joined in the room by somebody else since we got started. Are you here to provide public comment, sir?
Dylan, I'm the newest working speaker.
Oh, well,
Saying now, it's absorbing everything. I know where.
well, glad you're here and welcome. And usually on your first day, you have to stand on the table and sing a song. They didn't tell you that?
No,
All right, well, we won't ask you to do that here.
We have a no face policy.
Yeah, that's the accurate statement there. Okay, so is there anybody else here that would like to provide public comment?
Can we repeat our file comments? Is that helpful at all, or is that?
From my point of view, repetition is repetition. So Yeah, I've been reading them, so. Appreciate that. But if there's something you want to amplify or say differently, then it's not just repetition. And then, yeah, it's funny because this is also something that this hearing is falling into the pattern of what we've seen the last few times is that we get written comments and not as many oral comments. And then this one, we didn't advertise that we would stay here for a certain period of time like we tend to do on rate cases. So I'm inclined to just adjourn this public comment hearing for today. And then again, there's another published date for written comments, which is May 30th. So that's a great opportunity for the folks who've already supplied comments to amplify or disagree with the comments other folks have provided. And then as always, you can send emails to publiccomment@prc.nm.gov if with anything you want to say. If you want to make it specific to this case, I would say please use the docket number, which is 24-00157 UT. Mr. Lundin.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just add that the record closes on June 20th. So that's when our ex parte rule would kick in. So if anyone has questions about the rule for me, I am available to talk about it until June 20th.
Great. No, Mr. Lundin, just reiterate that rulemakings are different than adjudicated cases. And so if you would like to confer with OGC, his door's open. I think you could confer with us on this one, but we're harder to get a hold of and maybe not as responsive as Mr. Lundin. And frankly, if you ask me a question, I'm going to ask him. So pro tip there. So anything else? Any objection to adjourning? No, seeing none, we are adjourned.